Hi and welcome to Digital Making at Home with the Raspberry Pi Foundation. I'm Mark and I'm going to be leading you through a project today. So this project is on the theme of making games and we're going to be using a programming language called Python. This is a perfect project if you've done a little bit of programming in Python before but you don't consider yourself a real expert. If you've never done any programming in Python before, you might be better off having a look at some of our Scratch videos that are also being released today. But as I said, we're going to make a game in Python and have a look at the game we're going to make. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to go to rpf.io/turtle-race. Hit enter and this will take you to the project site. Here we can see our game being run and what's happening is the turtle is drawing a racetrack and then we get these four little turtles coming up onto the screen, doing a little spin. And then they're going to start racing across the track. And we're never sure which one's going to win. So in this one, green looks to be out front first and green looks like they won the race. If you get lost at any point during this video and you want to pause it and come over and have a look at the project site, you'll be able to see all the steps here for how to create the project that I'm going to run through. But what I'd really like you to do is like you to code along with me and we'll do some live coding. So you can see me make mistakes and you can see how I approach the way of creating this program. We're going to be using a platform called Trinket to write this project. And to get to Trinket, you can go to rpf.io/python3new. This will take you to the Python environment Trinket, which is an online environment, which means you can write code here and execute it and you'll be able to see it over here. Now importantly, if you want to be able to save your code, okay, and you want to be able to share it with us and share it with other people, you're going to need to have a Trinket account. So you can sign up to Trinket if you don't have an account or log into Trinket if you do have an account. And once you've done that, come back to that rpf.io python3 new link to come back here and then hit this remix button. And that will allow you to then have your own version of the code, which you can then share with us and share with your friends. What I'm going to start off doing is I'm just going to expand out this window a little bit to make it a bit bigger so it fills my screen. And also because I think that font's a little bit small for you to be able to see at home, I'm just going to make that font much, much bigger so you can see all the code that I'm typing. So let's get started. Let's create a turtle. In order to be able to use turtles, we need to first import the module. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write from turtle import, and then I'm going to use the asterisk symbol. And in a lot of computing environments, asterisk just means everything, import everything. Okay, so everything's going to be imported from the turtle module. To see what turtle can do, let's just type simplest command, simplest command, which is forward 100. There we go. And I'm going to run that. And what's going to happen is my turtle is going to move forward. See this little black arrow there? That's my turtle. The turtle's moved forward 100 spaces and it's left behind it this black line. Okay, so that's the basics of like drawing lines with turtle. We can also write characters with turtle. So let's just start off with writing a 0 and then hitting that run button again. And now we can see we've got that 0 character that's been written right at the beginning and then the turtles move forward 100 spaces. Let's quickly go back and check on the turtle race project to see what it is that we're trying to make. So we want numbers going from 0 to 14 eventually. Let's just start off with doing numbers 0 to 5. So I can go right 0, forward 100, but 100 is going to be a bit much. So let's take that down to 20. And then let's copy all of that code. And then I'm just going to Control C to copy, Control V to paste. And I'm going to change that to a right 1. Oh, right 1. And then I'm going to do it again. And I'm going to change it to a right 2. Again, change it to a right 3. And again, change it to a right 4. Last one. Again, change it to a right 5. So let's run that. Oh, that's giving us our numbers 0 to 5. That's great. But we want numbers 0 to 14. Okay. So we want numbers 0 to 14. Now I could just keep copying and pasting, but that gets really boring and we're going to very, very rapidly have like hundreds of lines of code if that's going to be our way of doing things. So what we're going to do instead, I'm going to delete all of this. We're going to use something called a for loop. Now, a for loop in many programming languages is a way of repeating something a certain number of times, a set number of times. In Python, the way you write a for loop is I go for, and then I need to create a variable. So I'm going to say step, and then in range, and I'm going to write 5. So that should do something 5 times. Okay, I put colon at the end of that, and then I hit enter. Now you'll notice that I've automatically been indented 2 spaces here by Trinket. Okay, and everything that's indented by 2 spaces in Trinket belongs inside this for loop. It's not always 2 spaces with other environments. Sometimes it's 4 spaces, but in this case we've got 2 space indentation, and then everything I write that's got 2 spaces in front of it belongs inside this for loop. So let's do another write command. And then let's do our forward 20 command. And then just run that and see what happens. Brilliant. So that's a much simpler way of getting lots of things written, okay, using that for loop. We've only used 3 lines of code there, but unfortunately all we've got is zeros, and we don't want that. But that's where that step variable that I talked about comes in. Because that step variable is going to start from 0, and then each time around the loop, so after each write and each forward, the step variable increases. So the first time round it's going to be 0, but the second time around it goes up to 1, and the next time around it goes up to 2. So we can write in there, instead of write 0, we can write step. Let's run that code and see what happens. Oh, much better. We've got our numbers, but they're not going up to 5 like they were before. Well, that's because Python always counts from 0. So it's starting at 0, and then 5 times it's going to increase itself, but that step variable only is ever going to go up to 4 at the moment. If I change that to a 6 and then run it, we get 0 up to 5, which is what we wanted. But we don't want it in the center of the screen. Let's have a look at our turtle race project. Again, you see our numbers are starting in the top left over here. So that's where we need to start our counting. So let's have a look at how we can do that. Well, we can send our turtle anywhere we want on the screen using the goto command. So in using the turtle module, the turtle always starts at the position of 0, 0, and that's dead center. So that's 0, 0 on the X and Y axis. And then X axis, the easiest way of thinking at is right to left, and the Y axis is the easiest way of thinking that is up and down. Okay, so we start at 0, and if we move right, X is going up. If we move left, X is going down. If we're moving up, Y is going up, Y is increasing. And if we go down, Y is decreasing. So if there's 0, 0, and we want to start over about here somewhere, all right, we want to be in the negative X, we want X to be really low, and we want Y to be quite high. So we'll set X to 140, minus 140, sorry, and we'll set Y to 140. And then we'll run our code again. Oh, that's better. We've got our numbers in the right place, but I've got this ugly line that's stretching all the way up from that center point there all the way up to the top, and I don't want that line. Well, again, we can fix that. Just like when you're drawing with a pen on a piece of paper, if you want to move your pen to a different part of the paper, you lift your pen up. So we can use the command pen up, and then run our code again. And there we go. We've got no line now, and we've got our numbers from 0 up to 5. Now, what I'd like you to do now is I'd like you to pause the video and see if you can get numbers from 0 up to 14 for me. Okay, so just try and do that on your own. See if you can figure it out. So getting the numbers 0 up to 14, and then come back and I'll show you how to do it if you haven't figured it out. So to get the numbers up to 14, instinctively you'd often type the number 14, but then, as I said, we start to count from 0 until we only go up to the number 13. So that is going to have to be a 15 there, and then we get all our numbers. Brilliant. So we're starting to look a little bit like our program over here now. We've got our numbers from 0 to 15, from 0 to 14, but we want our lines going down. That's the next thing we've got to do. So let's think about what my turtle's doing. So The first time around this loop, it's going to right step, which is 0. So my turtle's here. And then it moves straight away and moves forward 20 to here, ready to write its next step. So after it's written that first step, what I want my turtle to do is turn to face the bottom of the screen and then move down to here. Yeah, let's do that. So let's make our turtle move forward 160. Okay, so our turtle is going to move forward 160. Oh, we missed out the turn. So let's make him turn right by 90 degrees and then go forward 160. Okay, so let's just run that and see what our turtle does. So it does that. Oh, it comes down. Oh, but it's written a 1 straight away. So that's a problem, isn't it? What didn't I do? I didn't make my turtle move backwards and go back up to its original position. So after it's moved forward 160, we should get our turtle to move backward 160. Good. Let's see whether I've got it right this time. So 0, and it's come. Oh no. Oh, I don't know. What have I done wrong now? Let's have a think. So, my turtle was still facing down after it did that backward movement. I need my turtle to turn left by 90. That's it. Good. Moving in the correct direction. Good. That's all perfect. This is taking way too long. Let's speed up my turtle a little bit. Let's go speed 100. And run my code again. That's better. Okay. Now my turtle's moving down, but it's not drawing a line behind it because I haven't told it to put the pen down. So let's do that. Let's tell it to put the pen down before it moves forward. And then before it moves backwards, it can lift the pen back up. Let's see whether we're a little bit closer to what we've got on our full Python program now. So we're writing the step, we're turning right, the pen is setting down, it's going forward 160, the pen's coming up, it's going backwards 160, it's turning back to the left and forward 20. Let's see what that looks like. That's pretty good. We've got our racetrack going. But let's have a look at our turtle race again. There's gaps between the 0 and where the line starts. Yeah, these are dotted, they're dashed lines as well, but we're not going to worry about that too much. Let's just get that gap in there first, that gap between the numbers in the beginning of the line. So what can we do to do that? Well, maybe before that pen down, after it's turned right, we could make our turtle move forward by 10. Then the pen can come down. Then instead of moving forward 160, we can make it go 150 because 10 plus 150 is 160. Are we closer? Oh, we're getting there. We are getting there. Just the only thing is these numbers aren't above the lines. Let's have a look over here again. Yeah, these numbers are definitely above the lines. So we want to do that. We want to get those numbers above the lines. So at the moment, what's happening is each time the turtle writes a character, it's writing it to the right-hand side of its current position. And we want it to write it on its current position. So what I can do is I can put in this right step, put a comma and say align equals, and then go center. There we go. One more run. Much, much better. Good. We're not going to worry about making these lines dashed. We'll come back and do that at the end. Okay. So for now, we've drawn our racetrack. We're happy with that. So the next thing we want to do is we want to add in some more turtles, okay, that are going to do the actual racing. So we've got this turtle that's drawn the track, but we want some turtles that are going to do some proper racing. So the way to create a turtle is, first of all, you have to give it a name. So I'm going to call my first turtle, he's going to be called Red. And he is going to be a turtle. We have to give Red some properties. We have to describe what Red looks like. So I'm going to say Red's colour is red. And I have to give Red a shape. So red.shape. Let's go for turtle shape. Brilliant. Let's run the code. Track's drawn, and there's Red sitting there, and we've got our little turtle. Now, Red is currently sitting in the centre of the screen at 0, 0. So we want to tell Red to go to his starting position. So where would Red's starting position be? Well, if up here where that 0 is, that's minus 140, minus 140, 140. So we want definitely further back on the x-axis, and we want probably less on the y-axis. So we can go for, let's go for further back on the x. So we'll go for minus 160, and we'll go for just 100 on the y. Let's see whether red's in its correct position now. I forgot. So when I use go to, that's for the main black turtle, the one that drew the racetrack, and I want this one, I want red to go there. So I've got to say red dot go to. Let's try that again. There we go. And red's come to the starting position, but as happened before, red's drawn a line as he went up there. So we better make red's pen come up. I nearly made the same mistake again there. Red dot pen up. There we go. And we'll run that. And there we go. We've got red in the correct position. All right. So now red's got a race. Red's got a race across the track. So let's tell red to go forward. And let's make him go forward 350 to start off with. Let's just see what that happens. No, he's not drawing a line as he goes. So let's make him go red dot pen down. But we can see where red ends up. So do that. And now red's drawing a line. Okay. That's a little bit dull. So we know red's always going to win this race because red's always going to jump forward 350. We want to add some randomness to this. So let's see how the random works in Python. So I first need to import my functions to be able to use the random module. So I'm going to go from random. And the function I want is called the randint function. And that's going to produce random numbers that are whole numbers, not decimal numbers. So numbers like 5 and 20 and a million rather than 1.75 and 3.142. Okay. So now we can make red jump forward a random amount. So we can go anywhere from 0 up to, say, 350. Oh no, randint. 0 up to 350. There we go. And another bracket closing there. So now red should move a random jump forward. There we go. And let's do another one. A little bit less that time. So each time I do this, red's going to move a different amount forward. But red's going to have some buddies to race with in a minute. And we want them to take turns in moving forwards. And we want them to take turns, and we want those turns to be quite small little steps. And this is, again, a perfect excuse to use a for loop. So rather than making red jump forward like a huge amount, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say for turn in range 100. And then we need that indentation to make that red dot forward part of the for loop. And let's go anywhere between 1 and 5. So now red should jump forward in small little turns, anywhere between 1 and 5 steps, but he's going to do it 100 times. And there we go. And red's jump forward. Let's do another one. And got a little bit less distance there. Okay, so that's red. Red's our racing turtle. Let's give red a buddy to race with. And we're going to call her blue. So I've copied all of red's code. And now I'm just going to change everywhere where I've said red. I'm going to change it to blue. So blue.color. She should be a nice blue color. Blue.shape. We'll still make her a turtle. Still make her pen come up. And the pen comes down. All done. Let's have a look. Let's see what this looks like when we run it. So I'm going to run my code. That's good, but blue is sitting on top of red's position and hasn't moved forward. So what have I forgotten to do? Oh, it's that go to. Yeah, that go to there. So at the moment, blue's going to exactly the same position as red. So let's change that. Let's make her go to 80, and then she doesn't get to step forward at all. So let's make sure that she gets to step forward as well. And we'll do a blue dot forward. And then run my code. That's better. And our two turtles are racing. And Oh, neck and neck that time. Okay. Right, I'm again going to ask you to pause the video. What I'd like you to do is I'd like you to create 2 brand new turtles and add them into the race as well. After you've unpaused the video, I'll continue and I'll show you how I do it as quickly as I possibly can. But see if you can make 2 different turtles, 2 different colours, 2 different starting positions and have them race as well. So pause the video now and you have a go at that. I'm going to show you what I would do. So I'm going to copy all of those lines of code. I'm going to paste them in here. Okay. And now let's choose some new colour. So green equals a turtle. They are going to have the colour green. Oh, nearly made a mistake there. Pen up. Now then, what's their starting position? So I've got 100, I've got reds at 100, blues at 80, so I need green to be at 60. And then green to put their pen down. And lastly, let's go for a yellow turtle. You can choose whatever colours you like, obviously. I'm going to go yellow. Give the yellow a shape. Tell the yellow's pen to come up. And then I've got 60, so another 20 down. So yellow needs to be 40. And finish off my turtle creations with the yellow pen down. But then obviously I need them to race as well. So I'm just going to copy those lines of code, paste them in. So it's Control C and Control V. Let's make green move. And then let's make yellow move. And run this. And now I've got my 4 turtles coming in there and they're racing across. And I can't stop this. I always have to see which turtle's going to win. Oh, beautiful. Green was the winner in that one. All right, then. So there was a couple of extra things that the Turtle Race program had. So if you're still with me and you've come this far, it's absolutely fantastic. We're just going to finish this off with a few extra little bits. Okay. And the first thing I want to add in there is that little spin that each turtle does when they arrive on the stage and they get to their position. And that's really simple. Okay. All we need to do is we need to get our turtle to turn by 360 degrees because 360 degrees is a full circle. So I'm just going to get right. I'm going to, oh, nearly made the same mistake again. Red dot right 360. So red's going to turn 360. I want blue to turn left by 360. So she's going to turn in a completely different direction. Green can also go right. So green goes right by 360. Perfect. And then yellow can go left by 360. Brilliant. So let's just have a look. And again, we're going to watch the race to the end. Here we go. There they are. All do their turns and they're going to race. Blue's out ahead. I think blue's going to win it. I wouldn't stake my mortgage on it. No, blue has won it. I should have staked my mortgage on it. Right. Let's have a look. What next? So the last thing to do is to get some dash lines here for the racetrack. Instead of having these solid lines, I want dash lines. So we know that up here in this for loop that we've got for this step in range 15, we know this forward 150 there, that's what creates that line. All right, so we need to replace whatever we're going to put there is going to have to put in a dashed line. And what is a dashed line? Well, it's where you move forward a little bit, but then your pen comes up, and then you move forward a little bit more, and then your pen comes down, and forward a little bit more, and your pen comes up. So that's basically all we're going to have to do. So it's 150 in total. Okay, so what I'm going to say is I'm going to say for, let's go dash in range 15. So I'm repeating 15 times. So I know my total distance forward within this loop has got to be 10 each time. Okay. So I could do something like go forward Let's have a look at what this looks like. We'll go forward 5, and then we'll go pen up, and then we'll go forward 5, and then we'll put our pen down. So let's just have a look at what that looks like. Let's run it. Well, we've got our dashes. That's pretty good. So 5 and 5 is 10. I think I prefer slightly longer dashes though. Yeah, I'm going to want slightly, I'll code while that race goes on. So I'm going to change that to a forward 7, and then it has to total 10. So that's going to be forward 3, and I think green won that one. So here we go, forward 7, pen up, forward 3. That still makes a total of 10. Okay, so that looks better to me. I prefer that with a shorter little gap between each of the dashes. And this is our last race, guys. So let's see what happens. Red, blue, green, yellow. I'm betting on red. I'm going to lose my bet. Here we go. And blue's definitely the winner of that race. Brilliant. So that's the turtle race game completely finished. You can do more to it though. So what other stuff could you do? Well, first off, there's plenty of space on this track for more turtles. So you could add some more turtles to it. You could certainly play around with how much they move forward. So those random integers there. So is it 1 to 5 ideal, or do you want more, or do you want less? Do you want to increase the number of turns you have there? You could add other things to it. So for instance, maybe right at the end, the turtle that wins, this is a tricky challenge, but the turtle that wins does a little victory spin. So it spins on the spot to tell you that it was the first one to cross the 14 line. I wonder whether you could do that. Of course, if you're happy with your turtle project as it is at the moment, that's absolutely fine. We'd love you to click on that share button, get the URL for the share, and go to rpf.io/home, and then share that with us. Share screenshots of the code that you've done or the turtles racing. Share animated GIFs of them playing around. Or if you've done with turtles and you want to try something a little bit different, you can go back to our project site. If you just click on projects up at the top here, you can select the theme of gaming, and you can select that you want to code it in Python. And then we've got a whole bunch of other little projects here that you could have a go at and you could have a play around with to explore Python and gaming. So once again, please do share with us everything you've done for today's digital making at home session. Share it on rpf.io/home, and I'm sure I'm going to be seeing all of you next week for another session of live coding with me. So have a lovely day, guys, and I'll catch you all soon.